¿Qué tal, amigos? Welcome back to another edition of LatiNation Football Club. And the gears are turning. We are reaching to that point of the season where things are getting really exciting. And that's why I have my good friend and trusted collaborator, El Chiva Mayor, Julio Ramos. How are you, my friend?
Doing really good. Very excited about the games on the weekend. The games coming up, man. Football, man, all over the world.
All over the world. Some leagues are wrapping up, like in Europe. Otras, como la Liga MX, is about to play the Gran Final. MLS, midpoint of the season, with some teams that promise to be the leaders faltering and nowhere to be seen. Chiva, let's start at the beginning with the MLS because I want to talk about the debacle that is happening in Miami because it is self-fulfilling prophecy that these teams bring these past their prime talent and build these super teams, and they do not uh, perform as they are expected. Chiva, Miami is in a crisis. They are not performing nearly as they are expected to. Do you expect them to turn it around for the second half of the tournament, or are we seeing the biggest failure in Lionel Messi's career?
You can bring all the stars you want, but the rhythm of the league, uh, everything in the league is different from before. Where a little bit of talent or a lot of talent and not a lot of movement will make a difference. Now we can see that hey, you gotta play the teams that even if they don't have a big name, they're gonna score on you. They're gonna beat you. They're gonna at athleticism, the rhythm of the game, etc., etc. I think Miami, man, they have to do something. It's Messi, it's the GOAT, like they call him. But I don't see how they're gonna turn this around, bringing in more older players. To be honest with you,
That was the case this weekend, Chiva, where Orlando went to Miami and scored 3 on them. 0-3 was the final score. We are seeing a frustrated Star that is starting to get confrontational with their referees. We see it in other teams. Atlanta drops $22 million on a player, second to last place in the Eastern Conference. Miami supposedly winning all the trophies this year, probably will go empty-handed this season. Chiva, MLS is different, and some of the teams are really doing it well, like Philadelphia, like Cincinnati. You will say even LAFC. They are building these cohesive teams that are more about the collective than the individual. Now, let's take this segue to talk about LAFC because it seems like Cherundolo doesn't like winning big games. He likes to park the bus and lose the advantage. Those changes were crazy. 2-2 in El Tráfico. Marco Reus, the star of the match day, scored 2, saved the result for Galaxy that is still 14 games without winning to begin the season. Chiva, what was your take on this game?
first of all, amazing derby. I think the biggest rivalry in the MLS. It's not easy to say because Portland and Seattle, what they bring in the stats, the atmosphere that they bring in every game they play, it's also very, very, very good. But for everybody to name it and to call it the biggest rivalry in the MLS, I mean, you saw the passion in the stands, the passion in the field. It doesn't matter the Galaxy was in last place and haven't won a single game. They play like like a real rival against the LAFC. They came out strong. They scored the first goal. I mean, these are the type of games that you want to watch, that you want to witness. LAFC came back with Wanga scoring a golazo like always. Ordaz on fire, the Salvadorian American. It's just bringing it, and that gets to a little bit to the point of the older players, right? We have on the bench Oliver Giroud, that he's an amazing striker, but he doesn't fit with the speed of the team. And even though he's getting a lot of millions, he's still on the bench. He's not playing for LFC. But going back to the game, it was sad to see that again, one more time on big games, if T. Cherundolo cannot deliver strategically, tactically, the changes that he did, dropping to the line of 5. You can tell me that the midfielders got injured, but I mean, he just gave the game away. Galaxy never. I'll tell you this: if they would have given 5 more minutes to Galaxy, they would probably won the game. That's how bad it was.
Now, Chiva, there were a lot of ties, but there were some crazy games like Toronto versus Montreal. Actually, Montreal versus Toronto because Toronto went to Montreal 6-1 defeat. Bernardeschi got a hat trick, and it seems like this team that is still way below in the standings is starting to show something interesting in the last few weeks. What do you think, Chua?
I mean, finally, Toronto has to go back to their prime time where they played to back-to-back MLS finals. against Seattle. They have always tried to build a strong team. Unfortunately for them and for their fans, they haven't been able to deliver when it comes to that. And I feel good for the people in Toronto. Man, I hope that the team grows and they continue to start getting points so they can make it to the playoffs and give some hope and dreams to their fans.
It's gonna be very exciting to see how the teams retool themselves this summer, like you mentioned in the past episode, Chiba. But it's time for us to move on from MLS for a little bit and talk about la gran final del fútbol mexicano. Toluca contra América, Cruz Azul, again, Cruz Azuleándola, not being able to make it to the final. Now they still have a final in their calendar for the CONCACAF Champions, but no gran final. Chiva, El América might be winning their fourth championship. That is a crazy stat. Are you looking forward as a Chiva fan for
No,
that
not at all.
scenario?
Not at all, Marcelino. It's something that hurts me. Look, you can see tears on my eyes right now because it's a fourth consecutive final. For the America fans, honestly, it would be great if they win it. But if they lose, what can they tell the team? Nothing, man. Like, they are in their fourth consecutive final. Again, Cruz Azul was part of them making it to the final. Cruz Azul hasn't beat America in playoffs since 1999. Unbelievable. But yeah, man, hey, props to America. They're doing a great job. They're doing a great, building great teams. Unfortunately for them and for their history, there's always controversial plays in the games. Hopefully, it doesn't happen in this final. We'll see. But it's gonna be an amazing game. Toluca is delivering. Toluca with Alexis playing like a monster. He's such an amazing player this season with Toluca. And let's see what happens. I do believe that Toluca has a big chance to take it this time.
I agree. Toluca has shown since the first match day of the season that they are the team. They started faulty. I remember in the match day number 3, they had a 4-0 defeat, and everybody was like, what's happening with this team? And from there on, they were in a rocket, and now they're, rightfully in the Gran Final del Fútbol Mexicano. Let's go to the prediction, Chiva. We are recording this before the Juego de Ida, before the Thursday game. But what do you think is going to happen on Sunday? What is your prediction at large on this series that will define the new champion of La Liga MX?
My prediction is that Toluca and a very tough game are gonna be the new champions of the Gloriosa Liga MX, and they're finally gonna stop the America from winning that fourth trofeo these past 2 years. And I see Alexis Vega as the player of the match.
I hope so. Alexis Vega needs to be very motivated because he probably will be one of the star players of the Mexican team in La Copa de Oro that will be coming in this summer of soccer that has so many international games, Chiva. But before we move on to that, I want to talk about the possibilities. As an LAFC fan, wouldn't you like for LAFC to be the 4-time champion?
Look, man, is it regardless of if they're the champions or not? I know for them it's a super important match. It's an amazing opportunity for them. I mean, they're an amazing team, but in front of them, they're going to have an LAFC that is also hungry for history. They're going to be playing at home that know what playing in a Club World Cup means to the franchise in general. America's a big team with a lot of years of being one of the monsters of the CONCACAF. That's where LAFC wants to be. And that's the reason why I think that we have a chance. I think the players understand that regardless of the coach. I think the players understand the huge opportunity that is coming to them, and I know they're gonna deliver.
$10 to $15 million are on the line, but the participation on being part of the elite of soccer in the world and being able to compete with teams that you would normally don't have the opportunity, not even on friendlies. Chiva, thank you so much for your time. We have reached the end of this segment. Don't go anywhere because when we come back, we're gonna talk about NWSL and all the international soccer that is going to be happening in the upcoming weeks here in LatiNation Football Club. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups. My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Tigers, 31-17, Matt, on the season. They've got the best pitching in baseball, but don't look now. The Twins are now on their heels at 26-21.
The best hitters can't stay healthy. We obviously saw a situation last week where two of those guys got hurt on the same play. So that's the Twins, and I think Twins fans, I'm up in Twins country. Twins fans know that up here, and you're kind of always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
I actually like the fact that they went 7 games against a quality opponent here and still had to face adversity even in a game number 7. How are we setting up this next series with a rested Minnesota Timberwolves team taking on OKC fresh from the fight here?
They had an extremely, maybe it's just too strong of a statement to say, easier pathway than people thought, particularly because of their size.
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
¿Qué tal, amigos? We are back here in LatiNation Football Club, and I am very excited because it's time to talk about European football, one of the finest examples of this lovely sport, and that's why we have our one and only Nik Z coming back from his extended tour in European land. My friend, how are you?
I'm doing great. A little jet lag, but hey, happy to be here.
You're living the life, my friend. Now, let's talk about the most recent game. Tottenham lifting their first trophy in almost 3 decades, Nick, defeating Manchester United. They were not fighting for European soccer. This was their last chance, their last-ditch effort to get into the Champions League, and Tottenham and Son lifting his first trophy, his very first trophy, one of the best players in the world. Nick, how did you like this game?
For so long, it seems like Tottenham has been the butt of so many jokes for EPL fans, for all soccer fans. They needed this. Like you said, more than 3 decades, 1984, when they lifted the UEFA Cup. I mean, they deserved it. They really played great. Look, for Manchester United, it's like a completely different story, right? They endured one of the most challenging seasons in recent history for the club. So it was sad to see it if you're a Man U fan, but I really feel like Tottenham deserved this, man. I love to see it. And Son especially. Son was ecstatic, and seeing him lifting that trophy and holding it was an emotional moment, even if you're not a Tottenham fan.
Now, the other side of the coin, Manchester United showing a club that is in decline, that is a shell of the former powerhouse of British soccer. Nick, we see a coach, Amorim, that was brought in the middle of the season, trying to fix this with a team that was already dysfunctional, carrying many, many seasons and many, many different systems trying to be implemented. Now they are out of European competitions. They will be only participating in the Premier, losing at least $100 million in revenue, projected revenue, and also many players that will now decide not to play with Manchester United because they won't have Champions League. What is the future for Manchester United?
Yeah, it's a really good point. You brought up some numbers there in terms of the dollars. And look, this is a club that's obviously faced a lot of challenges, but that right there is a very important one because the market value of the club dropping a reported, get this, eye-watering 407 million pounds, just in recent days. So to answer your question, aside from the financial stuff, aside from like all the coaching changes as well that they've seen, a lot of brief stints with a lot of different coaches, I think that for Manchester United right now, they're going to face this sort of period right now of introspection and rebuilding after a very disappointing and unfortunate season. So, look, this is a club that has an amazing legacy, that has an amazing fan base. We talked a little bit about the money there and things not looking great, but they still got some of that because it's Manchester United at the end of the day. And I think, they're going to rise from the ashes like they have before in the past. I'm optimistic. It's Manchester United after all.
It's going to be tough for Manchester United. Accordingly, they will be listening offers for everyone in the team. There's going to be a major overhaul of this squad. And so there's going to be an interesting transfer window. Speaking of transfer windows, there's some breaking news, Nick. We have the end of an era at Real Madrid. Today was announced that Luka Modric, an emblem of the club, has been there almost 13 years, is no longer renewing their contract. Real Madrid decided to pass on him, and now he will look somewhere else to finish his career. I think Javi wanted him in the team for next season, but, the people in the desk department said, no, I think you're too old. We're going to let you go. No matter that you brought us so many silverware to this La Casa Blanca. What do you think, Nick?
So much silverware, 28 major trophies. I mean, unheard of. It's the club's most decorated player. 6 UEFA Champions League, 4 La Liga championship titles, 590 appearances for the club. Ballon d'Or winner, 2018, I think it was. I mean, his elegant passing, the tireless work ethic, his intelligence on the pitch, his football IQ. I mean, he was a linchpin of the team's midfield there, especially during the Champions League three-peat under Zidane. His legacy is going to go down as perhaps one of the greatest players in Real Madrid's history. At 39 years old, to make it that far and still be playing at such a high-level club, even if he was in this last season playing a more backseat, more, let's say, like back burner role, coming on as a sub, he played every game in the Champions League. He was still up there, 39 years old, to remain at that level it's absolutely amazing.
A true example of longevity in this game, Nick. I'm sure that he's going to land on a great team to finish his career. Now, let's talk about the current champions of La Liga, Barcelona, that clinched the title. They have a very promising future. The talk is that the renovation of Lamine Yamal is almost signed. That will be a very, very important contract for this young player. Nick, do you think that we're entering officially into the new era of Barcelona dominance?
At the beginning, a lot of people were kind of questioning Hansi Flick's ability. And I want to start kind of at the top in terms of coaching, and we could talk about players. After Xavi's late season departure in 2024, but under Flick, I mean, we've just seen an absolutely amazing Barcelona clinching, as we just said, their 28th title. The way that they play, the way they move, it's absolutely brilliant. And yes, one has to wonder, is this a Barcelona that's going to go down in history? They're dominating the Champions League. They're dominating in the domestic league. They just won the treble in the domestic league, La Liga, Copa del Rey, and the Supercopa. They're unstoppable, Marseille. And so, yeah. Heck yeah. I can't see this as anything other than a new, vigorated Barcelona that's going to go down in history. I hope it is, because we're watching history being made. That's the case.
So, Nick, to wrap it up before we move forward, I know we have Champions League, Inter de Milan. Your team is ready to take it all, but also we are deciding the champion of Serie A. There's still things to be decided. Tell me, what is happening this weekend in Europe?
Razor-thin margins in the Serie A. Napoli leading the table with 79 points. Inter Milan right behind with 78. So these next few matches, Napoli's playing Cagliari, Inter Milan's playing Como. So whatever happens there is going to decide who wins the Serie A. If Inter wins against Como, if Napoli don't do so great against the Sardinian squad, we could potentially see Inter Milan winning a treble, which is going to be absolutely fascinating if they can go on to win the Champions League. So a lot is riding on Serie A for Inter Milan, and then the Champions League as well. So it's going to be an exciting, I want to say the rest of May is going to be absolutely fascinating to watch for European football.
Nick, thank you so much. Welcome back to LatiNation Football Club. And you at home, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to see the very best of the National Women's Soccer League here with Camila Ortiz. Don't go anywhere. This is LatiNation Football Club.
We salute the brave and courageous women and men serving in the United States military, protecting our freedom. Please take time this Memorial Day weekend to honor the memory and sacrifice of our military veterans and their loving families, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation.
I'm not saying this thing is scripted, but damn it, they put those two teams on the first weekend of the basketball season for a reason, because they were expecting some kind of fireworks. They got it. Did Angel Reese overreact? Probably. Did Caitlin Clark have to stare it down? Probably not. There's enough blame to go both sides. But guess who doesn't care? That's the WNBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
The Tigers, 31-17, Matt, on the season. They've got the best pitching in baseball, but don't look now. The Twins are now on their heels at 26-21.
The best hitters can't stay healthy. We obviously saw a situation last week where two of those guys got hurt on the same play. So that's the Twins, and I think Twins fans, I'm up in Twins country. Twins fans know that up here, and you're kind of always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
You are a Pirates fan. I don't think you've got a reason good enough for me to be wearing Met stuff when the Mets are playing the Pirates right now. I don't think I'm gonna go, okay, I see it at the end of your explanation.
I'm gonna put it on Vinny. I'm gonna put it on all the Mets fans. The Pirates won 2 in a row. They fired the manager over the weekend. A new era of Pirates baseball has begun.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
¿Qué tal, amigos? We are back here in LatiNation Football Club, and it is time for one of my favorite segments of the show, National Women's Soccer League. With Camila Ortiz, we have all the details of what went down on match day number 9, but not only that, we are also going to be looking ahead of the international window that will be coming upon us. Camila, thank you for being here. How are you?
What's up? I'm super excited to be here. I'm doing great because we have so much to cover in this episode.
It is an exciting time in the season. You know, about half of the games have been played. Tell me, we all want to know what went down on this massive game, the most attractive game, if you will, of the National Women's Soccer League, none other than Orlando and Kansas City. Tell me, how did this game went down?
This was a very difficult game for both teams. I mean, eventually Kansas City Currents were able to come out with the 1-0 win over Orlando Pride. Chewinga, she put in a sneaky goal there. It was an exciting game. There was a lot of energy, but I think Kansas City Currents have just shown themselves to be that much stronger and to want it that much more this season. I don't know if Orlando Pride is getting a little bit too comfortable. That's what it looked like a bit to me.
This is going to be, again, a race till the end to see who's going to be the champion. Now, before we go into the table and see how things are shaping up, let's talk about San Diego, because I know this team is in an upward trajectory right now, and they are playing really, really well, surprising everyone. Tell me, how did they fare this weekend?
San Diego Wave is doing phenomenal. They were able to get the 3 points this weekend against Gotham, which has been an incredibly strong team this season. I mean, I think San Diego Wave was sort of like a dark horse. They were a little bit rough towards the beginning of the season, but they are going 5 games undefeated. They won 1-0. They got the 3 points this weekend, and it placed them at second in the league, surpassing Orlando Pride. So I think that's really showing how strong they are.
In contrast with Orlando, that is in third place, that they have, the last few weeks have been really inconsistent. Now let's talk about your favorite team, ACFC, that did not got the win this weekend. Out of the last 5, they've won 2, they lost 3. Where do you think this team is standing in the race to the playoffs?
That's a hard question to answer. I think they have been a bit inconsistent this season. I haven't seen that consistency of a dominating team. I do, however, definitely think that this team has the potential. I've seen them play in person. They are an incredibly dynamic team up top. So, again, I wouldn't put it past them to definitely make it to the playoffs this season.
That's right, Camila. ACFC owes it to their fans to make it to the playoffs because the caliber of players that they have. And speaking of players, the Thompson sisters and some others that have been called up for the U.S. national team, the international window coming next weekend. Camila, are you excited to see if the U.S. is still the top dog in the world?
Yes, I am thrilled. I think these are going to be extremely exciting matches. We have the U.S. women's national team facing China and Jamaica in some friendlies. I think, Emma Hayes, the U.S. women's national team, has talked about how much she loves this position. And so I'm excited to see if that love and passion is reflected back on to the team and if they can show up and show themselves to be the top dogs. The NWSL is one of the main, if not the main provider to the U.S. women's national team roster. The roster for these upcoming games has just come out, and we are seeing it just filled with players from the NWSL. Fan favorites are going to be in there, so I think it's going to be really exciting to watch.
And Camila, besides the obvious, the Thompson sisters, who are some of these players that we should be looking out in the next international games?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, we have the Thompson sisters. They are incredible up front. They are two powerful forwards. They are quick, they are crafty, and I think they are going to add so much to this new U.S. women's national team. Two defenders that I love to watch, Emily Sonnet on Gotham. She is just a classic, a fan favorite. She's strong in the back. And we have Carrie Abello. This is her first cap. She plays on Orlando Pride, and I am excited to see what she can bring to this team. Some midfielders. Another midfielder, it's her first cap, Lebonta with Kansas City Currents. She's having a strong season, and I think, again, she'll be able to bring a lot to this team. And finally, in goal, we have Claudia Dickey. This is another young player. This is her first cap, and she's coming from Seattle Reign, coming from the NWSL. All these players are going to add so much. I think the NWSL is preparing all these players to play at the higher level, and I think it's going to be really, really exciting for everyone to watch.
That's right, Camila, and that's why these games are so important, because they are pretty much the beginning of a new cycle in the U.S. women national soccer team, because all of these players will be looking forward to two World Cups, the one in 2027 in Brazil, but also the one in 2031 here in the U.S. So the cycle for the next 6 years is very important for all these new players that are getting their first cap. Those are the players that we will be seeing as starters in the upcoming World Cup. So stay tuned on this. Camila, thank you so much. And you at home, thank you for being here with us. We'll see you next time here in LatiNation Football Club.
We salute the brave and courageous women and men serving in the United States military, protecting our freedom. Please take time this Memorial Day weekend to honor the memory and sacrifice of our military veterans and their loving families, and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in their service to our nation.
Boston knew they were in trouble, Tom, but the most important thing is they fed off of their crowd, and in that third quarter, when Boston could have made a run, the Knicks just put that one last run together to put the game away.
So it was good to see them, to round this all together, good to see them finally put all the pieces in place to close out the series and say, yes, we are playing our best basketball, because that's what they're going to need against the Pacers.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Thomas, like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on Sport.